Hey everybody, I'm Jack Bryant. Thanks for joining me today. We've got some fun stuff with Rogers hardware. Got my first Rogers drum back in 1965. Had a three-piece Gretsch kit. Couldn't get a floor tom. A year later, the seller had a Rogers floor tom, white marine pearl. So that's when I started getting involved with the Rogers drums. Don't have them anymore. Don't have the original kit. But today we got some cool stuff to show you with Rogers hardware. And hope you enjoy what we're going to show you. Hope you enjoy what you see. Let's get started. So, first off, let's look back at the bi-directional mount. We looked at it before. Has an oval plate, rubber plasticky plate, another oval plate, screws. These two are smaller, belong only here. So if you take it apart, it looks sort of like this. And this one's a homemade. You'll see why in a minute. Didn't do anything special, cut it out of a sound percussion muffling pad, practice pad, punched the holes. I found some pipe tubing that would work, the right size, sharpened it, smoothed it, punched the holes. So here's what this looks like if you take it loose. And now, this is so cool. This is the floor tom mount. Floor tom mount's bigger, bigger hole. We'll take bigger stuff. So here's a leg that would not work on the bi-directional one. And what I love about having these bigger legs, long legs, is to use them to connect a cowbell to, or cymbals to. Make a floor tom into a docking station. Hold that thought. There'll be more about docking stations, maybe in another video. So, with the floor tom mount, you take this screw off, this plate off, and then you use the rest of the parts from the bi-directional unit, bi-directional mount. You mount this on here. Important thing are these screws right here. You can't just use any screws. They're flat head and with a tiny head. So you don't want to punch into your tom or your bass drum. But what you can do is this. What you can do is you can mount it like that. And you can have a floor tom leg mount on your floor tom, existing Rogers floor tom, without drilling any new holes. So, one of the things I really like about the strength that two plates will give you, where you do the sandwich. This is against the shell, that's on the inside. You have the sandwich. That's good. They're a bit hard to work with to get to fit just right, and we'll almost surely have to either file a bit or elongate a hole a bit. One of the things that I do, however, is I use fender washers. And so this is a knobby unit from the 70s. And when mounted with the fender washers, and they can be bent and shaped so they won't mess your drum up, you get a lot of traction. You get a lot of strength, and the distribution of the forces is pretty good. And whether it's a bass drum, floor tom, outer tom. So remember that. So, first thing, the unveiling. So here is one of these bi-directional units mounted on this floor tom. This floor tom has 4 knobbies on it. If you know what floor tom came with 4 knobbies, either by itself or as part of a big kit, let me know. We'll be talking about this hopefully in a future video, but if you know already, let the audience know. Okay, so here's what it looks like with the plate. It's on there very nicely. If you look around on the inside, here's a knobby that's held with the fender washers, and that's a 70s knobby. When I got the shell, it didn't have anything on it. Here is a knobby, 60s knobby, held with the fender washers, good and strong. And there is another one, another 60s knobby, held on with the big fender washers. And you see, even the floor tom legs have it down there. Probably might be a little overkill, but that's okay. So that's what it looks like mounted. I mentioned this in my last video on the Rogers bi-directional hexagonal tom bass drum mount. Now, here's the big surprise. This is a 50-year-old floor tom. This is a 70s 16-inch floor tom. I've had it for a number of years, and if you look at what we've got on it, we've got these new legs. We've got with the oval plates from the bi-directional mount, using the oval plates on here, and the washer, rubber washer, but on the inside I used standard hardware. So I just use the outside plate because I'm thinking floor tom legs, although the red sparkle one is probably overkill. We don't need maybe as many fender washers or big fender washers on this one. So anyway, I didn't use the inside plate, so I used one plate, one of the oval plates. So you can see what this looks like. I think it looks fantastic. It's amazing to me how well that turned out. So why would you want to do this? Well, maybe I can show you. So if you're breaking down, and maybe you have a friend or a helper or a roadie who's not so familiar with how to use a drum key without ripping something loose. Well, look at this. This just comes right off. And there you can see the memory lock. So, piece of cake, take it off, put it on. Works great, looks great. I got a gig coming up where I have a roadie helping me with it. And this was high on my to-do list to make this happen. So, we flip around. I've seen these start to become available again. I've seen them online. So the places you can check Big Bang distribution. I've seen a number of them on there. I have bought some from Big Bang, great folks. I bought some from the New Hampshire drum store, great folks there. So see what you can find if you're interested. The old one, the old knobby hardware, whether it's the 60s or 70s, it's good stuff. It's lighter than these, has fewer moving parts, might last longer. I mean, goodness. Hardware from the 60s, 40, 60 years later, still going strong. But new stuff is fun too. All right. Comment on making the rubber gaskets, rubber plates. I mentioned using the sound percussion piece of muffling unit practice pad. So here's something else I've used, and this is from I bought this at a surplus place. This is from a floor covering, like not a mat, but it'd replace the floor covering in a car, and it's a little bit thin actually, so I didn't use it. But 2 of these would be thick enough. So, oh, we probably need to do this too, just to show you one hand. New Rogers tom mount. Quick comment on the tom mount. It might work different than you think. One of the unusual aspects of it is, and I actually have it upside down. I'll show you how I know. One-handed here. This lets it turn this way. This knob lets it move like this. I'll show you. Up this way. You can rotate it that way. But to go side to side, you need this one, which seems a little weird at first, but it's okay. It's a matter of fact. You can leave that part of it, just put that in that hardware bag, big bag, and you're good to go. Okay. Well, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this made sense. Leave me some comments, questions. Catch you next time. See ya.